Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 delivers an action-packed finale that wraps up several storylines but sometimes feels more like fantasy than science fiction. Captain Christopher Pike, Anson Mount, and his Enterprise crew have encountered everything from monstrous Gorn to malfunctioning holodecks throughout Strange New Worlds' third season, and the finale gives everyone something to do. Directed by Maya Vervelo and written by Dana Horgan and Davy Perez, New Life and New Civilizations continues the story that began in Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 5 Through the Lens of Time, which introduced the Vezda and their mysterious prison. That episode hinted that the Vezda would return, and the finale keeps that promise, sending the Enterprise to a new planet called Sky Goen. Dr. Roger Corby gets involved again, Lieutenant Sam Kirk has more lines than he's had all season, and the truth is finally revealed about Captain Marie Batel's Gorn transformation. The episode packs a lot into its 55-minute runtime, and not all of it works, but New Life and New Civilizations has its moments, and it nicely tees up a fresh start for Season 4.
The Vezda's return comes with a shocking character comeback.
I loved Through the Lens of Time, and its ending left me excited for the return of the Vezda. What were these mysterious creatures that terrified even Commander Pelia? Unfortunately, the Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 finale doesn't really answer that question in any concrete way. The episode begins with a party in Captain Pike's quarters as Captain Batel prepares to take over as the director of Starfleet's JAG office. But when Dr. Mbenga, Nurse Chapel, and Lieutenant Scotty find pieces of Ensign Gamble's life form in the medical transporter buffer, the Enterprise traces the Vezda to Skygoan. The Vezda rebuilt Gamble's body and activated the Enterprise transporter from the inside, eventually making its way to Skygoan. This new planet looks amazing, with massive floating structures and a bustling marketplace full of diverse aliens. Some of the Skygoan's inhabitants have begun worshipping Gamble Vezda, and the Enterprise crew must prevent this Vezda from releasing the rest of his species from their prison on Vadia 9. Gamble's return was a fun surprise, but the ultimate fate of the Vezda was underwhelming, considering the way the species had been built up in Episode 5. The most we get is that the Vezda are evil, personified, but they don't actually do much throughout the episode, and Gamble Vezda is ultimately defeated fairly easily.
Captain Batel's transformation takes a turn no one saw coming.
I was on board with New Life and New Civilizations until the big reveal about Captain Batel's transformation. It turns out that Batel and the Beholder statue on Vadia 9 are one and the same. Thanks to interdimensional space and some weird stuff with time and causality, Batel has always been the warden of the Vezda prison. Because Batel is now comprised of DNA from various species who have supposedly beaten the Vezda, she's one of the only beings who can stop them. Though it gives Captain Pike pause, Batel is remarkably accepting of her future as an eternal statue, saying that it's her destiny. When Batel finally goes up against Gamble Vezda, the scene cuts to an alternate future just as Batel is about to attack. We see Batel and Pike experience an entire lifetime. They get a dog, celebrate anniversaries, have a daughter, and eventually grow old together. It's a lovely sequence that all happens in a matter of seconds as Batel gathers the love she needs to fight the Vezda. It all feels too much like magic, and no technobabble explanation would make all of this make sense. It's nice to see Pike live a full and happy life where his tragic accident never happens, but an entire episode could have been devoted to that scenario alone. That's part of the problem with this season finale. It feels like multiple episodes crammed into one. I've thought before that Strange New Worlds should get more than 10 episodes per season, and New Life and New Civilizations makes that even more apparent. The story jumps from one revelation to the next without giving the audience time to catch their breath. There's some good stuff here, but the whole thing feels overstuffed.
Spock and Kirk mind meld to save the universe.
And then there's the storyline with Lieutenant Spock and Lieutenant Commander James T. Kirk. It's always great to see these two characters interact, but having the pair share a mind meld this early in their friendship fundamentally changes their relationship.
By the time of Star Trek the original series, Kirk and Spock have developed the kind of trust and respect for one another that only comes with years of working together and slowly becoming friends. The mind meld in the Strange New Worlds Season 3 finale feels like a cheap way to cement their bond without building it organically. The whole scenario comes about because the Enterprise and the Farragut need to fire their weapons at exactly the same time in order to have enough power to open a doorway on Skygowan. To do this, Spock and Kirk share a mind meld and then pilot their respective ships in complete synchronicity with one another. In the end, Kirk goes back to the Farragut and Spock remains on the Enterprise as it prepares for another 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds. While New Life and New Civilizations delivers some great moments, it never quite coalesces into a unified whole. Overall, Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 delivered some of the series' strongest episodes yet, but its finale unfortunately ends the season on a strange note.